Hello, my name is Frances Fox, and I'm a trained remote viewer. I actually have all of my psychic skills developed and followed and statistically analyzed, and I am here totally aligned with my mission in this incarnation, which I strongly suggest that you let your God know that you want to align with your mission because life is very difficult. And the last map I did of the United States, but it applies to the world, that last map, across it, I wrote, fasten your seatbelts. It's going to get, it's going to be a bumpy rise. We are in the ascension process. A lot of us, our frequency has changed because we've dealt with ugly stuff within ourselves or within our lives. So we're going to be okay, but the process is not easy. So fasten your seatbelts and don't avoid any truth because that is what can take you down. Okay? So I'm not a trained astrologer. I cannot do an astrological chart. I look at each sign and I deliver the information through a couple of filters. In particular, today, I'm going to look at where you might be weak that you could have a catastrophe. What's big going on that you really need to pay attention? And the other filter is that I want what I think all human beings want, which is to evolve, to stop going through this pain, to finish figuring it out, taking care of it, which is the whole ascension process. The your vibration. Every time you take care of, which means you address and actually allow yourself to feel and understand how much that particular trauma affected you. You breathe it through. The mantras are the quickest, the easiest, the cheapest way, but you have other ways, that's fine. You accept it, and that means it gets let go. It's when you don't accept it at an emotional level, you just at a conceptual, yeah, I know it happened, it's okay. Not okay. So anyway, there are two things that can stop you from getting the good stuff planets can give you. One of them is a huge trauma in your childhood when you were young, and you have a big spirit attached to you. That spirit, if it used to have a human body, it has an astrological sign and tendencies. And once it attaches to you, you're no longer like, I'm a Cancer. Astrologically, I'm no longer just a Cancer. And the other thing that can stop you from getting the goodies that the planet could send you is if you are haunted, as in black magic. Actually, both of those two things that can block you from getting the goodies from the planets is hauntings. One is you're haunted because you had a trauma and a spirit attached. And the second one, you're haunted because somebody put a curse on you. I was looking on X today and they're talking about insomnia and how it's much worse and didn't be, and you could take this stuff and these vitamins and insomnia. Every time I have looked, and I have done complete hour chats on it where people send me their photograph of them on their bed or just their bed, and I check the root of their insomnia without exception. It's a spirit that's standing by the bed. Now, why that spirit is there, a thousand different reasons, but it's always a spirit. So it's funny to look at what they put out. Take this vitamin, take this mineral, amino acid, but that doesn't take care of the spirit. You have to find out why there's a portal that you are able to have a spirit in your bedroom. We're going to go on into the horoscopes, which is the only reason you're here with me. Okay? And your first sign is Aries. And Aries is a male sign, and its element is fire, which means this incarnation is really difficult because our world today is out of control, having to do with too much fire. That's all the fighting and the violence and the suicide, depression. That's all a sign of excess fire. Strokes, heart attack, cancer, all that's excess fire. Anyway, so Aries is male by gender and fire by element. Aries, I see for you the catastrophe can be that you have some weaknesses in terms of finances having to do with the baseline stuff like where you live, literally where you live, um, that you haven't really paid attention to. So it's going to, that is where you can be weak this week. because you didn't pay enough attention. In terms of your physical body, where I see that congestion, which is on your backside in the back, which means it's something that you're hiding in your subconscious and very low. We do give prosperity workshops. Uh, Actually, it's where I clear you. You just have to sit there and be receive mode. They're only $10, and if you speak Spanish, I would suggest it. You need to get your root chakra in order because that has to do with security and financial prosperity, and just being secure physically and being secure financially. So let's go on to the next sign, which is a Taurus. Taurus is a female sign in terms of gender, and it is an earth sign. Earth, when you have a lot of earth, when you have fire movement, and when you have a lot of earth, you can get stuck. Um, and maybe you're a really good long time worker, but maybe there's stuff in your life you've been wanting to do for a long time and you're kind of stuck and it takes you forever and you're stubborn, you want everything to be perfect. So that's Taurus, kind of Taurus energies. What do you need to know this week, uh, which is the 4th to the 10th of August 2025? I see you've left your home, you're locking it, but as if you're going someplace, not like you're never coming back. But I see from your bottom a mind string long that has always been rolled up because of frustrations. And Tauruses are very frustrated people. They're all very frustrated people. Um, they can have a tenderness towards greediness. Like if they have something, they really want more. And that is a state of mind that can leave you never being happy. But anyway, Taurus, I see you have a mind string in the correct color, which is red, in the bottom of your body that used to be a congestion. It was held there in place, all rolled up. It's unrolling, and it's part of it's on the ground, almost as if it was a snake, but it's not a snake. Um, and it's what I see is that if somebody tries to stop you from going to do what it is that you are now going to do, I mean, how much longer are you going to think about it? Whatever, this is a decision you made. And that person is kind of approaching you, and that mind string of yours starts to function like a weed whacker. Like when you're going to do your lawn and you have to do the edge, and they have something with a little thin string that goes around and literally whacks. That mind stream ends up acting like a weed whacker under the feet of the person who's going to approach you and say, maybe you should think about. No thinking, no talking, no listening. That's it. I'm doing it. What do you need to know, Taurus? That you probably be surprised at yourself. But I don't think you need to know anything. I think you already reviewed everything 1,000 times. And this is not only okay with you, this is what you want. And it's okay with you if nobody else wants it. Because you are satisfied that you're doing what you need to do. This is very good, Taurus. I'm very glad. We're going to go on to the next sign, which is Gemini, which is an air sign, the element of air, thought, mind, and it is a male sign. Gemini, what do you need to know this week? You have too many things that you're dealing with, and there's some important stuff that you're just neglecting because it's just the volume is too much. So it's kind of like over here, and you're dealing with everything that's like right here. So, what is the mantra? Please, God, help me with my intention to get my priorities straight, to miraculously get my priorities straight. Now, I'm Cancer Gemini. That makes total sense with me. I have a ton of things. They're all important, but some of them are more important than others. And I honestly need to remember that. President Trump is Gemini, and it makes sense. It's just the volume that he has to deal with is overwhelming. Super. So you got your mantra. Let's go ahead and continue with the next sign, which is Cancer, which is a female sign and it's a water sign. And water is emotion. So Cancers are very emotional, whether they show it or not. And their tendency is depression because they're sent depression every minute of the day by the planets. So they become a magnet for depressed people, depressing things. So Cancer, you always have to do the depression mantra. There are no exceptions because you're getting it every minute of every day from the planets. So, what do you need to know this week, Cancer? I see somebody saying something and you're going to do what? And they're kind of like wanting to blame you, Cancer. There, there's something going on and they would like to blame you, Cancer. And you're like, I don't know what it is that's going on. Uh, and the truth of the matter is, they don't want to tell you what's going on because I see them turning around and then they're talking amongst themselves and they're writing stuff down like numbers or whatever. And you're just like, what? Um, so I think in terms of catastrophes, there's going to be some communication catastrophes, but I don't see bad news catastrophes. It's almost like they're holding back something, almost like they're holding back something like it's good, it's too good, they don't give it to you, they wait till later, but once you get it, you're like, well, this is great. I don't get what the problem is. I'm not sure what the problem is either, but you just need to know that other people that have some control over something um, are not fully communicating with you. Your reaction is correct, but why don't you just back off, Cancer, and let them go ahead and do all the stuff that they need to do to get used to whatever it is that they need to get used to. And when the volume of negative emotions and confusion goes down, then maybe you can go ahead and talk to them. They may want to talk to you before, but I wouldn't have a lot of reactions because the first conversation that you have about whatever this is not where everything is going to play out. Besides which, it already played out. The people that need to tell you something, and they're not quite sure how to tell you, Cancer. Um, so there's really nothing for you to do other than not insist on communicating, because I think people are not quite ready for it. You may be, but they're not. Okay, so let's go on to the next sign, um, which is Leo. Leo is a male sign, and it's a fire sign, which means too much vitality. And then when you can't expand that vitality, you end up getting frustrated, and then you end up getting angry and impatient, and then you hate. And if it gets really bad, you can get emotionally violent. Violent, murder, suicide. All of that is too much fire. So, a Leo, all the fire signs, this has not been fun because the planet is burning up with too much fire, plus them. So, what is going on? What do you need to know? What you need to know is that, and I see there's a lot of arguing going on, and it appears to be in your family, and you're at the side of it, you're not in it, and they're discussing different things, and you have some information that would shed a lot of light on what's going on, and you're not sharing it. You're standing there, you're not sure that you want to share it because then you get caught up in everything that they're discussing. So I think that maybe we'll give you a mantra, which would be, please God, help me with my intention to miraculously know what's best. Miraculously know what's best. Um, I would start today because whatever it is, it's pretty big, and whatever it is can actually make a difference in where you physically live. In other words, this is big. You don't appear to have anything to do with it, but it's going to affect your life, Leo. So please do the mantra. Okay, Virgo is the next sign, and Virgo is a female sign in Earth. Um, very stable, grounded, but can be, not want to make changes. They're also perfectionists, which is probably their biggest virtue, but it's also their biggest liability because perfection doesn't exist. So they're always pretty miserable because they didn't make it perfect, but they couldn't. But that's something they have to work through. Virgo, what do you need to know this week, the 4th to the 10th of August, 2025? I see you angry and somebody's saying you did something and you're saying, I didn't do that. Um, and you have to sign some papers or something. You keep arguing, saying, I didn't do that. This is not mine. And yet you sit there and you're signing something and turning it over to somebody. So there's going to be a confrontation that's going to have some kind of aspect having to do with contract or legalities. I don't see you've done anything wrong other than the fact that you don't really know what the heck is going on. So let me see what kind of mantra gets recommended for you. Oh, please, God, help me with my intention to miraculously understand how I got myself into this mess. Literally, that's the mantra that I'm getting. Miraculously understand how I got myself into this mess. And this is Virgo. Mm, okay. I have a country that I follow, and one of the important players there is Virgo. This is not a good thing for him. And it is a mess. Okay, we're going to continue on. And I'll do my Cancer thing and worry about this person. Libra is the next sign. Libra is a male sign, and it is an air sign. So they're very much up in the air, not very grounded, very creative, diplomatic. Um, what do you need to know this week? Where could you have a catastrophe in your life this week, Libra? I see you saying I do want it, and then you're going, well, not really. Yeah, no, yeah, I want it. Yeah, of course I want it. I don't know what I should do. And there's something, you're standing at the door of your house, and it's almost like somebody's got a broom and they're sweeping you out. That's it in Latin America. When somebody has a broom at the door, they're trying to sweep out the company. Um, but you don't quite want to go, Libra. This is not your choice, certainly at this time. So I think you're going to have a potential catastrophe in the area of where it is that you live, and perhaps you've always been thinking of moving, or you knew that eventually you would have to. But I think there's something that's going to push you kind of out the door, and not in a really graceful way. So I would do the mantra, please God help me with my intention to miraculously know what to do. I think you already know about this. This is not going to be a surprise. I think the surprise is going to be the finality of it. In other words, like done deal, whatever it is. It's but that it happens is not going to be a surprise. You needed to have paid more attention. Okay, continuing on. We're going to go now with Scorpio. Scorpio is a female sign. Scorpio is a water sign, emotions. Scorpio, I like Scorpios. Um, they have a job and a plan in this incarnation, which is to slap you around with your karma. What is karma? Karma is you draw to you what you need. You don't draw to it to you because you were bad and now you have to go through that bad thing. No, you have bad things happen and you have to stop and say, why did I need that? And then you realize, oh, yeah, that's right. I didn't think that was really important. Now it turns out that my whole life is upside down. So I like Scorpios. They're interesting. Be hard to be mated with one, married with one, whatever. But they are very bright and very creative. I don't know why I always do a little advertising for them. Because when you go, oh, he's a Scorpio, people go, really? Scorpio, this week, the 4th to the 10th of August, 2025. You have your suitcase. I always see it. But this time, you're actually walking out the door and down the hall. But you cut out the bottom of the suitcase. You're actually carrying it. You cut it out. So as you walk, what's in the suitcase falls out. So by the time you get to the end of the hallway, your suitcase is empty. But that's what you intended. It's like you do not want to move forward with this, that where you have been. You do not. And you may do it in a sneaky way, but you are not moving forward with that. This is good. But that's the kind of how Scorpio would do it. Scorpio would not come up and announce and tell you, listen, I'm leaving and I'm not taking this. No, they would do it like that. No, I'm taking all my stuff. Look, see my suitcase? Meanwhile, very creative, very creative. So continuing on to the next sign is Sagittarius. Oh, you know who Scorpio is? Hillary Clinton. Yep, Sagittarius. Male sign, fire. It's the same image I got when I did this in Spanish. I think you've got some big stuff going on, Sagittarius. I'm sure that this cannot possibly apply to everybody, but I see you've got big stuff. It's out of your hands. You can't handle this. Your back is up against the wall, and you really need to let the authorities know what's going on. You're not going to get out of whatever it is that's there, or however it is that you handle it. You need the authorities, and you cannot do it on your own. So, however that translates in your life, Sagittarius. Continuing on, uh, Capricorn. Capricorn is a female sign, and it's Earth. Home, taking care of the family, making sure everybody's okay, protected, security, 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 and then money, money, money. But it all has to do with security. Um, Capricorn. I see somebody coming up to you, like asking for something, and then you turn around and you're like, as if you're going to write a check or something. But you're writing the check, but right there, there's a drawer there or something, and you pull out a gun. And then you turn around to the person who's expecting you to pay him what he's asking for, and you hold the money here or the check here, but you're putting your arm down and you have the gun there. And you say, anything happens, it may take me 3 days, but it'll all be all over for you. And the person looks at him, just goes like this and walks away. So it seems to me like a situation maybe there was a little bit of blackmail and that you didn't have much option but to go with, and you've decided, no, no more. Interesting, Capricorn. I'm not giving you a mantra because you already know what it is you need to do, and apparently you think this is the time to do it. And I don't see anything bad happening. Actually, the person that was coming for his payout or whatever is not in a good place. Not in a good place. In other words, they're not leaving you, Capricorn, ready to go call the big guys. None of that. They're totally in a weakened state. Don't think you need to worry very much about that. Let's go on. Next sign, Aquarius. Aquarius is a male sign and it is an air sign. And what do you need to know? You got a hat on with hat pins and little flowers on one side, asymmetrical, and you've got your little suitcase and you're rolling out the door with your little suitcase, and you have a little note there that you left for whoever, but it's not much of an explanation of anything. And then you get out and you're closing your house, apartment, whatever, but somebody's coming down the hall that you know, and you go, oh, and you scramble, you get into your house, your apartment, you hide the suitcase, you take the hat off, you fling it over behind the sofa, and the person comes in, oh, how you doing? Fine, everything's fine. You don't say a word about the fact that you were leaving, but you weren't leaving to go have a hamburger. You were moving, gone. Now, I know Aquarius have a hard time making decisions, and I know they're very private. So this is interesting. There's nothing, there's no mantra. Let's see. Please, God, help me with my intention. No, I don't have a mantra for Aquarius. They're doing what they want to do, the way they like to do it. I don't see any danger other than other people not having information, but no, no, it's okay. Apparently, Aquarius has made a decision and he's very happy about it with even little flowers in the hat. Okay, Pisces. Pisces is a female sign. It's a water sign, which means lots of emotions. Pisces. I see you getting something through the mail. It has to do with money, and it makes you furious for 2 seconds, and then you start scribbling and writing numbers, adding things up. Then you've got one of those old-fashioned adding machines. Do we have to pull it back? Pull it back. You're adding up. You've got your pencil behind you, like an accountant. You look like the old-style accountants in the movies. The pencil behind the ear, and you look at the bottom number, and you go, okay, but that's better than their version. So somebody has sent you something with their version having something to do with money, and it infuriates you, but you really don't take the time to be angry. You just simply get to work. And the number that you're looking at, which is very different from the other number, isn't the best case scenario for you, but it is not bad. So, Pisces, your mantra, please God help me with my intention to be miraculously fair to everyone. Why is this mantra have that weird version or the weird? Because Pisces knows that if they're not careful, they will end up doing things that are unfair to them. They're not worried about being unfair to another person. They're worried about it being unfair uh, to themselves. It makes sense with what I know. So that's it. And thank you for listening. I strongly suggest you listen to all the horoscopes. Why? Because your boss has an astrological sign. And if your boss is like he's a Virgo, like Virgo is this week, maybe this is not the best week to be confronted. And knowing what everybody else is going through, it's not a question of you taking care of them. It's a question of you understanding that if you knock at a door where the person inside just wants to slit their wrist, probably not the best decision for you to knock on that door. So, and your kids, each one of your kids will have a different astrological sign. Your mate, if you're going to do a business deal and you have to negotiate even 2 inches, you should know their astrological sign, because they could say something and you could go, oh my God, I guess they're not going to do this. But it turns out that they are master negotiators, such as a Scorpio, and you're never going to be able to tell if they're going to do it or not till the last minute, because then you're not going to be able to read them. But if they're Scorpio, then you kind of know, oh, okay, I get it. So it's good for you to know it. And if you have 2 children that are fire signs, you need to know that, because that means there's going to be a lot of yelling and screaming and throwing things, and because they have a lot of vitality. So it's not like your kids are bad compared to the neighbors, where the kids are earth signs and they're like little angels compared to yours. It's not a good or bad. It has to do with the kind of frequency they have because of the date of their birth. Thank you for joining me. Bye.